Hi everyone, welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. So I'm going to tie something a little bit different today. I'm going to tie an egg pattern. This one's called the sunny side up. So it won't be long and those trout will start spawning and things like these eggs will become really productive for the grayling. So I've been using this pattern for a couple of seasons and it's been productive at this time of year. So you definitely want to get some tied up in your boxes. It's really easy to tie and we're going to utilise some of the new Fullingmill materials as well. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So in the vise I've got a jig force short, this is a size 20, and I've got a 3mm fluorescent orange tungsten drop bead from Fullingmill. So I'm going to put a little bit of wax on my thread, so this is a GSP. So I use the GSP because I don't want the thread to show when I come to tie off. So I'm just going to put a bit of wax on just to help me get a good purchase as I'm tying it in. So you need to just create a bit of a bed here because what we're going to do is we're going to prop that bead on this thread. So a bit of trial and error, you just got to keep putting it on and just testing the bead because you want this to sort of jam on that thread. So and we're going to put the bead right in the centre of the hook shank. So a little bit more. Right, this is just slipped, so I'm just going to straighten that. Alright, so yeah, pretty much there now. So I'm going to stick that in the middle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some figure of eights. I'm going to do about 15 of these. And then I'm going to do almost like you would post a parachute, about 5 times. And then I'm going to do a reverse 15. And then another parachute, sort of post, about 5. And then I'm going to leave that, and I want, oh, that's just come undone, so I'll just do another 5 there. And then I want to get my thread to the back. So I'm going to put a bit of super glue on this. So I'm just going to secure that with a healthy amount of super glue. And then the next material I'm going to use is the Easy egg yarn. This is the mini. So this is the fluorescent shell pink. So I'm going to cut some of that off the card. And then I'm going to expose the core. Right, so I've got the core exposed there. I'm just going to tie that in right behind the bead with some tight turns. So then I just cut those little tags off. Like so. So then I'm going to do one full turn behind the bead, move that up to the front, and then I'm going to figure of 8 And then I'm going to do a post wrap right the way around. And then I'm going to do another figure of 8. And then I'm going to tie that off. And I'm going to sweep everything back. And I want to tie quite tight into that. So we can then cut out our excess. And then some extra turns. Now I'm just going to come in with some tying wax. And then I'm going to whip finish this. I'm going to whip finish as tight as I can up that shank so it hides the thread. And then that will be all hidden. So we can cut our tying thread away. Like so. So there's the finished fly. You can just give that a little bit of a brush to check that you're happy with it. So I'm happy with how that's looking. So as I say, it doesn't get much easier than that. Really fast to tie, really productive. Just going to trim that little bit there just to get a bit of a better shape. So, you know, as I say, it doesn't get much easier than that, and it's a really productive fly. For, as I say, when those trout are spawning, this is definitely one you want to get on the hook. I tend to use it on the dropper, so only 3 mils and 3.5 mils. I have done some 4s before and used them as a point, but I find it's a bit more productive on the dropper. So yeah, get some tied up. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.